A WWE star officially done with the company. One wrestler demands more firings. WWE stars win titles down in AAA. And more. Hola, mi llamo Ollie Davis y esta es el WrestleTalk News.
Support WrestleTalk!
Before we get into this video's main stories, a happy belated Father's Day for all you DADs out there. Like our own Luke Owen, of course, or SmackDown wrestler Johnny Gargano, who's celebrated by cosplaying as Cyclops and Wolverine with his son. Or maybe your version of a daddy is slightly different, like in Liv Morgan's tweet. Happy Father's Day to the world's best daddy, my daddy Dom. But I think we can almost agree with the focus of AEW's Father's Day post. Christian. To all the inspirational, wise, selfless, loved, courageous, generous, compassionate, respected, sacrificing, and devoted fathers of the world, happy Father's Day. But the best dad is the one who's going to call up your work to try get your boss fired when something happens to you that he doesn't like. Ever since Jey Uso lost his World Heavyweight title to Gunther on last Monday's Raw, a lot of us have been waiting for Mount Rikishi's eventual eruption. The real-life Bloodline elder has a fiery track record of angry podcast rants whenever he feels his real-life son Jey has been disrespected. And his promo on Jey's World Heavyweight title reign, it didn't disappoint. 51 days for this champion. Are we talking about a kid that, 16 plus years, that put in work? We're talking about a kid that, combined with his brother, merchandise sales through the roof as a tag team. Now breaks off in a single competitor. If you can tell me that anybody else is selling any merchandise higher than Yeet, I want you to tell me by all means. Dad, please, I've still got to work with the people in the company. You didn't feed this champion the right talent to be able to continue to make this champion. Not a fair shot in my eyes. So you go 51 days. I say fire them. Fire those that are writing for this kid here. Dad, stop. You can't just ask for people to get fired. What is it against my boy? Would you have done that to Randy Orton if you threw the belt on Randy Orton? Would you have done that to, John Cena? But Dave Meltzer has responded to Rikishi, blaming the writers for Jey's loss, pointing out that the guy who makes all the creative decisions is actually Triple H. In 2025, people blame major booking decisions on the writers. Hint, the writers don't make those decisions. The writers weren't the only target of Rikishi's misinformed rage. With the energy of your uncle after an evening on Facebook, he also started cutting a promo on TKO for trying to allegedly reduce his cousin Roman Reigns' pay. Now you're trying to cut Roman Reigns' fee. Here's the guy that main evented WrestleMania. 6 main events and more to come, because he still looks great. He can still draw. Y'all miss him. Do y'all do the math every WrestleMania? What, WWE and TKO? You do the math? That's a lot of money. That's a bunch of money. And guess whose face was on that, leading that? I didn't make this up. Y'all did. Y'all put it all out there. I saw the same flyer y'all saw. Roman Reigns, Bloodline member. Jey Uso, Bloodline member. Trinity Fatu, Bloodline member. It's all I'm saying. Hey, let's not make up stories about bullshit. If you're done with it, say it. You want to move on? Say it. But damn it, I'll be damned if I'm going to sit back and you try to erase the history of our family of what we put into this business. The idea that TKO is trying to cut Roman's pay can be traced back to a rumour started by Jonathan Coachman. On his podcast last week, he claimed TKO wanted to renegotiate Roman's $15 million a year contract, but the Wrestling Observer newsletter later corrected. As far as income goes, there are 7 WWE performers earning well over $5 million per year, and 2 others who may also hit that figure this year. Aside from The Rock, the highest paid is Reigns. Whatever stories that went around from Jonathan Coachman that TKO asked Reigns to take a pay cut or restructure his deal are false. But some cuts, unfortunately, are real. Because 2 weeks after posting that WWE would not be renewing his contract, and most of the outrage getting focused on R-Truth's release, Carlito is now officially done with the company. Following a few well-received cameo appearances, Carlito returned to WWE full-time in 2023. He was first part of the LWO, but joined the Judgment Day after being drafted to Raw. He seemed to be building a long-time romance angle with Raquel Rodriguez, which was never paid off on, and at one point, he was reportedly set for a big singles push in 2025. It was speculated that fell apart when he made an off-script joke about mistaking Japanese for Chinese in a backstage segment late last year. But Carlito has been busy. The day before he announced he would be leaving WWE, he won the WWC Puerto Rico heavyweight title in a promotion owned by his father. And he has now posted on Instagram announcing he's back in business and I might show up somewhere this weekend. Elena Black, however, is one step ahead of him. The former Cora Jade in NXT is now out of her non-compete period after being released on the 2nd of May, where she made her return to independent wrestling at Black Label Pro in Indiana. As part of her comeback, she posted a video on social media where she bid farewell to Cora, seemingly drowning her, and rebranding herself as Elena Black with all the goth metal styling of an early noughties Evanescence video. She also had some choice bits of voiceover, which could or could not be interpreted as shots at her booking in NXT. First describing her Cora Jade character, "You stood there and smiled for them and aimed to earn their love with that surface level mean girl bullshit." And then at the actual backstage culture in NXT, which is already accused of body shaming her. Always injury prone, lazy even, they smiled to your face and drove a knife right through your heart. Black has a packed schedule coming up, returning to GCW this coming weekend, along with Top Talent Wrestling, Atomic Legacy Wrestling, and Destiny Wrestling over the next few months. But Cora Jade and Carlito aren't the only acts finished in WWE. Apparently, Damage Control is officially no longer a thing anymore either. Damage Control was one of the first big creative moves of the Paul Levesque era. Just a few weeks after Vince McMahon retired for the first time, Triple H was suddenly in control of SummerSlam. Never one to miss saying the quiet part out loud. Remember, he called his big NXT shows, which would test to see if he could one day replace McMahon, takeovers. He debuted a new women's faction, Damage Control, pushing a faction of women just weeks after the head of the company was removed for sexual misconduct. Damage Control. They were Bayley, making her return from injury, bringing with her Dakota Kai and Io Sky. Kairi Sane and Asuka both joined the group in 2023 and then kicked out Bayley in the build to WrestleMania 40 last year. But Asuka was taken out with an injury during the Queen of the Ring qualifiers last May, leaving just Io, Sane and Kai. But whereas Sky received a steady push to apparently become the women's champion right now, she's not defended it since Mania, Dakota and Kairi were on and off television due to various injuries. And in May, Dakota, along with Cora Jade, was amongst the names cut from the company. Kairi has since returned, where she has been aligned with Io in backstage segments, and Asuka is set to make her long-awaited return on tonight's episode of Raw, in one of the Round 1 Fatal 4-Way Queen of the Ring qualifiers. Whack that! According to Fightful Select, however, Asuka will be coming back as a wrestler without a faction, as Damage Control was quietly disbanded back in May following Dakota's release from WWE. The commentary team has reportedly been told to stop mentioning Io, Sane and Asuka as representatives of the faction. There are no plans to reunite them, even with Asuka making her return tonight. Meanwhile, in Mexico, every major wrestling promotion in the United States is going there for the next several months. AAA's biggest show of the year, Triple Mania, took place over the weekend, where the Kingo beat Alberto Del Rio again for the Mega Championship in a steel cage, marking Del Rio's first match since the WWE era began at Worlds Collide, implying he won't be fully gone under the new regime. And WWE Team Los Garzas won the AAA Tag Team titles, where they beat the TNA Tag Champions Nick and Ryan Nemeth, Psycho Clown and Pagano, and the defending champions Sanson and Forastero. Also at the event, WWE announced the dates for their main roster Super Show, the Done in Camera, that had been long rumoured for the country, taking place on the 26th and 27th of July. It'll be interesting to see how the AAA talent is used on that show, especially Del Rio. TNA's Joe Hendry was also in action at Triple Mania, complete with a Spanish language version of his entrance theme, Creo and Joe Hendry. And he might have given away the biggest single draw you could do on those July shows. The memes unite, posting a photo of himself with Mr. Iguana. It's Mr. Iguana! He's got an iguana! Please comment below with your best names for the Hendry Iguana tag team. At the complete opposite end of the wrestling spectrum, New Japan have announced the competitors in this year's G1 Climax tournament, which will run for a month from the 19th of July. Block A includes the IWGP Heavyweight Champion Hiroki Goto, Bolin Oleg, or Oleg Bolton to NXT fans, Yuya Inamura, Yota Tsuji, David Finlay, Evil, Sanada, Hiroshi Tanahashi in his last ever G1, and 2 more to be confirmed. And Block B has El Phantasmo, Shota Umino, Shingo Takagi, Zack Sabre Jr., Great-O-Khan, Gabe Kidd, Ren Narita, AEW's Konosuke Takeshita, and 2 more to be confirmed. And to close this video, AEW Originals Private Party, who beat the Young Bucks on the first ever episode of Dynamite, and who held the AEW tag titles as recently as January, before losing them to the Hurt Syndicate, are reportedly set to leave the company after 6 years. Fightful writes their deals are set to expire soon. With them not having appeared on TV since January, it's expected AEW won't re-sign them. WWE is said to have shown interest in the pair and will likely reach out once their contracts have expired. Now go over to our board game channel, No Rolls Barred, to watch us play a game of political backstabbing and lies. Coalition. Click the video on screen to watch it now.